Time to start our feeding for the afternoon. First thing I like to do in feeding some calves is gonna go down here and grab some grain from our grain bin. Stored the other side of this wall. All I gotta do is flip this switch. And go feed some out. This grain that I'm giving these calves is, you know, a high source of energy and protein, and it's kind of, you know, in the diet to help initiate a lot of growth that's important at this stage in the heifer's life. So we don't give them a whole lot, but it's very nutrient dense. Now that we got that grain fed to these calves, we're going to let them eat on that for a little bit, and I'm going to start mixing feed for the milking cows. So we're down here at the bunkers. Got the tractor ready to go for fill up, skid loader, and gonna talk about what we have here in these bunkers. The first ingredient that we'll be throwing in is alfalfa haylage. This is the product of alfalfa, which is a legume, and it's mowed down like hay. Then we come through and chop it. It gets packed in like this. Starts out green, but both of these forages go through what's called the ensiling process, where basically we take this plastic here and cut off all oxygen points, and through an anaerobic process it ensiles, and that improves the feed quality as well as reduces the spoilage, so you'll be able to, you know, feed your feed for the rest of the year. There's only a limited time in the year that we can harvest these feeds, which is why these bunkers are so important for storage. And alfalfa, that's typically going to be a source of protein for the cows. This bunker, we got our corn silage, and this bunker is double the size of the first bunker we were in. We opened it not too long ago, and so corn silage here is going to be the entire corn plant chopped up. That's stalks, cob, ears, kernels, everything. Cows will eat it all, and it too started out green and went through this full ensiling process as well. Corn silage is going to be the main source, or is a source, I should say, of energy for the diet. And so we can always be feeding a constant supply of feed. We rotate out on these bunkers, so we have some tires, but back behind that is our later cuttings of alfalfa. And this was a corn silage bunker. You can see we have a little bit of waste feed here, and that one will get refilled this summer. So there's always a constant supply. We never have to damage the quality of the feed by taking it away from that ensiling process, because it really does take a good 3 weeks for the feed to get cut off from oxygen and be at a decent quality. Now that I added all the alfalfa, I went ahead and what you just saw was I flipped on the PTO for this tractor here, so now the feed is actually mixing. That's what it looks like once you got the feed mixing. So now we're gonna go fill it with corn silage and get this thing mixed all the way through. Got all the corn silage loaded up. We're full. There's what it looks like mixing everything up. Go ahead and cut the PTO off the tractor. We're not done yet though down here. I need to take a scoop of corn silage and we're gonna go run it out to the dry cows. get fed a full ration like the milking cows do, including alfalfa in that ration, will mess with their dietary cation-anion difference, and that's just a long way of saying they're going to be having some problems that could be avoided during their calving time and then their first few weeks back into the milking herd. Gonna go ahead and run off feed for special needs. Got the feed all run off now. Now the cows can be happy and enjoy their food. One thing about cows is that they love to eat. They live a very simple life. A lot of eating, laying down, and getting milked. and we try and make sure we keep it nice and simple for them. I'm in our mill room now. The purpose of this room is to get our concentrate feeds run out through this auger that runs out to the mixer wagon up there. And there's two ingredients that we use. Coming out this way through the silo out there is our supplement, which consists of mostly protein as well as our vitamins and minerals to kind of round out the nutrition of the diet there. And this one has got high moisture whole corn, and this was harvested in the fall. It's stored in our silo here, and it comes right through here up this auger and falls into here where it gets ground up and shoots out that way. The supplement, protein supplement, comes in through here. That's delivered to us from the co-op, and it's already ground up, so no need to mess with that there. Remove this lid here from the silo, and we'll go ahead and get started. This stuff tends to come out pretty fast. And then it just fills in the back, waiting to be mixed. You can see this mixer wagon doesn't quite get all of the silage out of there, but that's all right. This silo here is where the high moisture corn is stored, and then this silo right here is the protein supplement silo that we're feeding out of right now, and that gets filled every other week or so. I went ahead and zeroed this scale once I parked the tractor back here at the mill room because we're actually starting on tomorrow morning's ration. These concentrates, you don't have to worry about the spoilage nearly as much as you do with like the alfalfa and the corn silage. So we're getting a head start on tomorrow, and when I went down to feed earlier, that was actually concentrate that we had put in this morning. So no harm there from a spoilage perspective. We're just getting a head start for the next feeding. My ration right now is supposed to have about 800 pounds of protein supplement. This stuff runs out pretty fast, so once I get it up to about 700, I know that gives me roughly enough time to walk back and flip over the switches that I'll end up at 800 pounds. Alright, got up to 700. We're gonna go into the mill room and get everything switched over to the high moisture corn. Cows are being milked right now. You can see my estimate was about accurate. Now we're at 800 pounds. Starting to add more that the first of the high moisture corn is getting into the mixer wagon, and let's take a look. You can see that high moisture corn's getting all ground up. and it's just falling right on top of that protein supplement there in the back. And we'll get it all mixed in tomorrow morning, so everything's going pretty smooth. This holds about a year's worth of our high moisture corn. Right now our ration's at 900 pounds of feeding, so we're using almost a ton of it a day. The last thing we need to take care of before we're done feeding is going back to those calves we started with and giving them hay. I'm in our what we call our big calf barn, and these are hay racks that my great uncle had engineered, and he welded these together himself. On the bottom here is a grain tub, and then on the top it holds room for some hay. That's some leftover hay from earlier today. So these calves, if I wanted to, I could feed them at the same time, but not all of those pens are like that, and some can only hold, you know, one thing at a time. So feed them some grain, come back later and feed them some hay. So we'll go ahead and get these fed. The hay these calves are getting, I would equate this to like eating a salad for the calves if the protein was like their big energy source. You know, this is very fibrous, helps, you know, get the calf's stomach full. You know, if we only fed them grain, then they'd have some digestive problems. Isn't that right? Yeah. So they can really eat on this hay all day, which is why we fill them up so full. They'll come back at it throughout the day and just pick and play with it. The calves, they'll just enjoy this stuff for the whole rest of the day. This group's a little antsy, but they're just excited to be eaten. So I got all the hay fed, and usually I have no trouble getting all the hay fed while the high moisture corn is still getting into the scale. That stuff just tends to run out of the silo so slow, so it only makes sense that I go ahead and feed hay to kind of kill two birds with one stone. We're still waiting for the total concentrate weight to get up to about 1,700 pounds before we put the mixer wagon away. So I just got a couple free minutes to wait here and let this thing finish filling up. So that takes care of everything here in the mill room. When I shut everything off, I try and let things run an extra 10 seconds or so to get everything emptied. If you come in here the next morning and start this up and it's full of corn, it's just gonna have a really grinding effect, and its machinery is gonna wear down faster. Went ahead and closed up the latch to the silo, so we're all good to go here. So that wraps up everything that goes into an afternoon feeding of the cows. Hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned for more.